Blog Talk Radio.
I won't lose my heart again.
You were so kind at a time when I needed a friend.
Somewhere the friendship ended and love began. You're the reason I'm back in love again.
You turned on the charm, twisted my arm with love.
You were the girl from a world I've been dreaming of. Baby, there's something you gotta understand. You're the reason I'm back in love again. Back in love again. Saying things I never thought I'd say again. You gave me a feeling I hope will never end. You're the reason I'm back in love again. This time around, we found love to last.
I won't be afraid of mistakes I've made in the past.
Baby, you made me feel like a brand new man. You're the reason I'm back in love again. Back in love again. Saying things I never thought I'd say again. You gave me a feeling I hope will never end. You're the reason I'm back in love again. You gave me a feeling I hope will never end. You're the reason I'm back in love again.
You're the reason.
You're the reason.
You're the reason I'm
Back in love again.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday night, and if it is Wednesday night, then you know it is off the chain. I'm your host, Yvonne Mason, and I want to welcome all of you to the show tonight. Boy, this show just keeps on growing. For those of you who do not know, we have moved into our second year. Yep, we are there. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, because this is your show, you know it's not my show. I say that at every show. It is because all of y'all that this show has grown exponentially large and just keeps growing like crazy. We are on the cusp of 129,000 listeners just on the show, just here on the show. It doesn't count all the podcast and Reverb Nation and all the other places I've got it, just here on the show. And I want to thank Australia because Australia is our biggest listening base here on this show. I don't know how they have outweighed the good old USA, but they have, and I appreciate them so, so much. Not only do they listen, but they buy the product from the artists that I bring on the show, and I am so, so grateful to y'all. And for those of y'all that don't know, once this show is archived, it goes up on podcast.com, Podcast Garden, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Stitcher, FM.com, TuneIn Radio, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and now Reverb Nation. So when you add all of those to the total of the show itself, we're looking at almost 200,000 listeners in over 200 countries. Now, this is giving the artists and the authors and the people that wish to be on the show a venue that they might not have had an opportunity to have, and I am just so, so grateful. And being grateful, I have to tell you, we have a sponsor. Well, before I do that, there's two ways you can get on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm already doing bookings for January. I mean, we're that far ahead. I'm filled up until the last couple of days in December that I'm going to be doing shows, and then starting January, I'm already halfway through January. So if you want to be on the show, there's two ways to do it. One, you can come on the show as a guest, whether you have a book, a music, a platform, a political agenda, a cause, a passion, or you just want to talk. I don't care. Or you can become a sponsor for the show, and for $10 a month, because I'm not going to get rich off this, I don't want to, I will run your ad for a month, whether it be an MP3 format or whether I read it. I'll run your ad, and y'all know that my husband is very ill, and for whatever reason, if I have to reschedule shows, your ad goes with the show. So you get however many shows I do in that month, your ad will run. The way that you can do that is you contact me at offthechainradio@yahoo.com and say, if I don't want to be on the show, I'll tell you how to get on the show, or I want to place an ad, I'll tell you how to do an ad. It's a great way to get out there, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not expensive, and I'm telling you it works because author Liane, who has been on my show and who is one of my sponsors, her books went to #1 in Australia. Yeah. Let that soak in. Her books as an indie author went to #1 in Australia. And she has a series called the Sam Holden series. The first in the series is called Doggone, and the second in the series is called Dog Fight. And it goes like this. Wherever a helpless animal whimpers in the dark and wherever the system fails to protect said animal, she'll be there. And she isn't giving up any time soon, so you've been warned. When Sam Holden receives a tip about a brutal dog-fighting ring, she embarks on some of her most dangerous acts of vigilantism yet. The monster known as the puppeteer circles Sam's world as she unknowingly circles his. And while they chase each other, will Sam put those she loves most in harm's way in order to break up the ring? With time running out and animals in need, the dangerous life Sam's created begins to eclipse any other life she could ever lead. That is Dog Fight. They're all on Kindle. Doggone and Dog Fight by Liane Mote are on Kindle. So go and check them out. Also, we have two new sponsors, and they've both been on the show before. One of them is John Isaac Jones, and he has this neat little book of short stories called Alabama Stories. And he writes from the perspective of a 12-year-old kid. He was born and raised in Alabama, in an area that I know well because I have been to that area many, many times. And he puts you in those stories. They're just delightful. I love every one of them. But it's Alabama Stories by John Isaac Jones. J. Traveler Pelton, she has a trilogy called the Oberlin Trilogy, and the first in the trilogy is The Infant Conspiracy. In 2018, the Oberlins are a shadow family. The parents, Noel and Violet, along with their children, are very close-knit in more ways than one. They all work in the family farm. The children are supposed to take over the farm after the brothers return from their hitch with Uncle Sam so the parents can retire. But things go south real fast when a savage virus is turned loose on the unsuspecting public. Join the Oberlins as they set out to make the world a safer place. The Infant Conspiracy by J. Traveler Pelton, also on Amazon. You can go to Amazon and get all of these books, but you can't go now because you will miss an exciting show that we have. This is her first time with us, ladies and gentlemen, but I can promise you, with her permission, it won't be her last because y'all know I always bring my guests back because they get a following on this show. And once they get on the show, it's like a drug of choice. They can't help themselves. But author Carol Lane joins us, and she is a lover of all things romance. She holds several degrees, including a master's in management from Wayland Baptist University. Her husband of 15 years proudly serves in the military. God love this family for their service. Thank you so much. And together, With their twin elementary-age sons and 2 adult dogs, they reside in New Jersey. Kara is an environmental scientist by day, working full-time as a lab tech in the wastewater field. In her spare time, she loves to read, write various things including poetry, stories about her sons, and her latest novels. She also loves to give back to the community and serves as a key spouse to 2 squadrons on her local military installation. As a family, they love to go camping, and if you don't find Kara chasing after her sons, then you'll find her glued to her computer or enraptured by something she's reading. Welcome, Kara. I am so glad that you're on the show tonight.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You are quite welcome. And like I said, this hour will fly by. When I say, Kara, you're not going to believe this, but but see, I told you I can't talk. Our hour is almost up. You're going to say, I don't believe it, and I'm going to say, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I told her before the show started, she said she hoped that she didn't make a fool of herself. I said, I do it all the time on this show. Y'all know this. Y'all been around me enough. Tonight I can't talk. It's just one of those nights. So see, we got that out of the way. Absolutely. That's why we call it Off the Chain. First of all, I want to say thank you. And please, when you get off from here, and the next time, if your husband's not deployed, tell him when we get off the phone, if he is deployed, when you talk to him again, please thank him for his service, and thank you for serving as well, because we all know that when the spouse serves, the entire family serves.
Well, thank you very much. Believe me, it means the world to me. It used to be very hard for me to accept when people would thank me, because I'm like, I don't do anything. I just, hold up the home front for my husband, but I've tried to, over the years, just accept that people want to give thanks, and I do appreciate it, believe me. And, now that we have the twins, and now that I try to be so involved on our military installation and give back to the community and whatnot, it really is something that I'm very passionate about. So I do accept the thanks, and I do appreciate it, but really it's my husband and all the fellow men and women in uniform that serve that are the heroes. And my husband's a 7-time, he's been on 7 deployments, so I definitely consider him a hero, because many times he's been taken away from us in our 16 years of marriage. But he's incredible. He's been serving for 17 years, so he joined before 9/11, and I couldn't be more proud. You'll probably hear me gush about him constantly, because I'm very lucky to be married to this man. I mean, he's incredible. So that's actually
we are very proud of him, and the reason that I thank you for your service, because what you just said is impactful in the fact that you hold up the home front, and it takes. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been a spouse of a service personnel, whether it be a husband or a wife that is the service personnel, if you've never been the spouse on the other end, you have no idea how strong these men and women that stay behind have to be. They have to take complete control of everything that has to do with the home, the children, the groceries, the bills, the repairs, the nightmares. Y'all are in your own service to the country by doing what you do, so that your spouse can go and do what they do. And there is no greater sacrifice.
Well, thank you. It means the world to me. I just feel fortunate to be a part of the military family in any capacity. And I hope that when Matt retires in 3 years, that no matter what, we're still going to be involved somehow. My husband happens to be a firefighter and an EMT as well, so we're always going to be connected somehow by doing some kind of community service. I can guarantee that. I actually raise money and awareness for veterans with PTSD and TBI, so I'm very passionate about that as well. So, it's something that's probably always going to be running through our veins, is serving our community and being a part of the military family. Matt's father, he should be well into retirement, but he's actually still serving as a Navy officer in the reserves. So Matt comes from a long line of military, and me not coming from really a military family or background, it was such a shock and eye-opener, but I feel so blessed that I have this life that I do because of the military. So it's just been incredible. So please know from the bottom of my heart how much it means to me that you even recognize him and me as well, because it does mean a lot, believe me.
Absolutely. Whenever I have a guest that shows either they were in the military or their spouses, that's the first thing I say, because that is so important. Because my war was Vietnam, and our service personnel was not respected. They were not appreciated, anything but. And I swore that would never happen again if I could help it, because that was a war they didn't ask for. We never asked to go to war. We never asked for our personnel to fight. But that's what they're trained for, and they go, and they don't question. So the attitude is so much better, and even when I see a Vietnam veteran, I tell them how much I appreciate them, because they were not, in fact, they were spit on and everything else when they came back, and it really irritated me, because that was when the draft happened, and they didn't have a choice. Now we have an all-volunteer military, but they didn't have a choice. They got the letter from Uncle Sam and said, "You belong to me now, come and go fight," and they went. So, yes, I recognize our military families, and I love them with all of my heart, and that brings me to a question. What is a key spouse?
A key spouse is actually something that's Air Force related, because each branch of the military might have a different name for it. I think they're called a budsman or something. I never pronounce it correctly. For like the Marines, like I said, every branch pretty much has their own title. But what a key spouse does is we are trained and we're considered professionals. We're hand-selected by leadership, either in your squadron or at the group level or at the wing level, and they appoint you as a key spouse. You go through training, and you do continued training. I'm required to do certain training every single year in order to stay certified, basically. And I lend support. We call it wingman support. I lend support to the spouses of the deployed members and offer them resources and somebody to call on, basically, if they need something. Maybe it could be something medical that I can refer them to the correct person to call or point of contact. It could be something as simple as, is there any activities available for my kids? And then I can certainly refer them or hook them up with the proper department that can take care of them. So we basically serve as just like a point of contact or a resource. But it's incredibly important that we do serve in that position, because I remember, 16 years ago being a spouse for the first time. I was dropped in the middle of Oklahoma, and I was, 18, just turned 19 years old, brand new newlywed. And that's when, the war first kicked off, and Matt got deployed a few months after we first got married, and he was gone, and I had nobody. I knew nothing. I was brand new to everything, never been away from home, in the middle of Oklahoma. I hail from Pennsylvania, so as you can imagine, it was just quite a shock to be in this new life and not know anybody and not know anything. And that's where the military, thankfully, realized and recognized the need to place spouses to fill that void or fill that gap and bridge that gap, so that doesn't happen again. Because I remember being in a tornado. It just, some things just stay with you, and it's crystal clear in my mind. It's so vivid. While my husband was literally under mortar attack, I was in the middle of a tornado, and he called me on the satellite phone because, of course, 16 years ago, there was no Skyping or any of that. And it was just so bizarre that on one side of the world, he's, being under attack, and I'm, being attacked by Mother Nature. It was just the most craziest, bizarre thing. And, now we can certainly look back on it and be like, wow, we survived that. It was one little tiny snippet of our lives, but it's just, I had nobody to call on, nowhere to turn, and, you kind of felt abandoned in a way. So that's why I am so passionate about this program. I've been a key spouse for 4 years because I don't want that to ever happen to a spouse again. I don't want them to think that they're alone and have nobody to turn to. And especially with mental health these days being such an important issue, that is exactly why I'm also passionate about it, because they need to know they're not alone.
And so back to the beginning of the conversation, you do indeed serve. You serve in a way that when a spouse is deployed or has to leave their family, they know that family has a safety net, and they don't have to worry about that family being watched over and taken care of, because they have key spouses that are trained to point them in the right direction, offer some emotional, mental, and physical support, be there with a shoulder to cry on if they need to cry. All the things that they're not able to do, that's what y'all do, so they can go and do their job with peace of mind. So, yes, you do serve.
I like I said, I'm trying to accept, looking at it like that. It's not that I, mean to be like so modest about it. It's just, it's hard for me because I consider my husband on such a different level. So that's why when I'm trying to learn to accept the thank yous and whatnot. But it's one of those things like my husband says, it's a calling for him, and I guess that's how I feel as well. So it never occurs to me that it's something that I need to be thanked for or recognized for, because it's just something that's natural now. It becomes a part of your everyday life, and that's how it is for Matt. That's how it's always been. Since he was a kid, he's wanted to be in the military. He loves giving back, and that's how our family's just kind of been. We've adopted that whole attitude of we're going to give back. We're meant to be here for something bigger than just our little family unit. And I'm really grateful that we have our little family unit, but at the same time, we can do more than just us. So that's what we really are trying to instill in our sons. And, as they continue to grow, I hope they'll see all the things that we do. But, it just so happens my twins are special needs. Both my boys are. And that actually opens up a whole new avenue where I can actually help families as well, because there's just so many programs now that the military is also offering to families too. And that's why I really was so happy when, at the time, our squadron commander's wife approached me and asked me to be a key spouse, because I didn't really at first honestly think I had anything to offer. I really didn't. And then when she started ticking off all these things, well, your kids are enrolled in ESMP, which is the Exceptional Family Medical Program. Well, your husband's been deployed 7 times. Well, he's currently deployed, because at the time, right now he's not. I mean, when she asked me to be a key spouse, he was deployed at the time. And that's why kind of what held me back. I'm like, I don't know if I can do all that, but it actually gave me a purpose. And that really helped pull me from feeling sad and alone and whatnot. And that specific time is what drove me to I'll never feel that way again, because I can do something and be something to somebody else. And ever since that day, 4 years ago when I signed on to be a key spouse, I've never looked back. And it's just been incredible. And I'm very fortunate that the military has given me so much in return. They actually flew me to Tennessee 2 years ago, and I got to meet our wing commander, not even our wing commander, I should say the AMC commander, which is the Air Mobility Command commander. And it was just incredible to go on that journey. And the military is just so much more than what I used to think it was. I mean, I didn't even know anything until I really got immersed in it. And that's why I hope that other spouses will. It's just an incredible life that they've given us. So you'll hear me say nothing but praise for, our military.
And that brings me to another question. And that on your website, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to the books in a minute. Just hang tight. On your website, you have a program. It's called the Dog TAGS program. Now, explain to us what that means and how they can get. They're gorgeous dog tags, but they're dog tags that are the cover of your books, correct?
Yes, my second novel in the series, because this is a 5-book series, which, like you said, we'll get to, but the second novel, it's actually called A Force of Nature, Book 2. That book is actually modeled, I should say the main character, his name is Brennus. He's pretty much modeled after my husband. I wrote the book on my husband. A lot of that went into that book is, some true information. Now, of course, I did add in the elements of suspense or elements of embellishment to, of course, make the story exciting and whatnot. But at the true heart of the story, it is really where it's going to be real and authentic. So that I hope the readers will latch on to, because it really is based on kind of my life as a spouse, and the character being a hero is really my husband. But anyway, yes, what I decided I wanted to do as another give back to the community, when I launched that book, it actually was picked up by Kindle Scout. I submitted for a campaign, and I won a campaign with them. So Kindle Press is actually the publisher for it. I happen to be like a hybrid author. Not only am I an indie author, because I've indie published the rest of my books in the series, but I consider myself almost like a hybrid author, because that one, I would say, like, we don't call it like traditionally published or whatnot, but Kindle Press owns the ebook rights to it. I still have the paperback rights, but Kindle Press has the ebook rights to it. So anyway, once I launched that book, I just felt compelled to do something with it because of my military ties, and I wanted it to be bigger than, what it already is. So I talked to my husband. I was like, I've got to come up with a project where I can give back to veterans and do something for them. And I just happened to contact Dog Tags program. I hooked up with them. They're located in Pennsylvania. Mechanicsburg, I think, might be the main location for them. And what they do is they train service dogs for military veterans that are affected by PTSD and TBI, which, of course, is post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury. And they train the service dogs and then, place them with the veteran. And it's an incredible program. I've been selling those dog tags that are, they feature the book cover of book 2. And it's been an amazing journey so far. And I actually am in another project with a bunch of other authors and bloggers, and we're coming out with a cookbook that actually launches on July 15th. And what's amazing about that and how that ties back into the dog tags is we all got to submit for an idea for charity. And I submitted the dog tags program, and I am so excited to announce that they selected my charity. So not only does Dog Tags program get the love from what I'm doing with the dog tags, selling them with the book cover on them, they also picked my charity for the proceeds to go from the cookbook sale. So it's an incredible thing for me to be able to help this program. And I'll draw a breath so you can actually talk. I'm so sorry.
Honey, this is your hour. We'll talk about anything, but I do want to, before we get into all of your degrees, I mean, you've got several master's degrees, I got to run some few quick ads. This is Yvonne Mason with Off the Chain and my guest, Carol Lane, and we are having the most exciting conversation, and we will be right back to finish, so bear with us.
Do you have cougars on your porch swing? Are horses your new best friend? Do your nicest shoes get buried knee-deep in snow as your toes turn blue? Are you bothered by wolves at your woodpile? No, not that kind of wolf. Join wildlife artist and author Nancy Quinn and her family as they discover an exciting new life in Go West, Young Woman, a true Montana adventure. Available online and in bookstores. Or visit QuinnWildlifeArt.com for a personalized signed copy. Critics agree, it's a hoot.
Horses See Ghosts by Ganot Wise. Tommy Chong once said, when you hit a groove, it's not you, it's the spirit world. Thanks, spirit world, for Horses See Ghosts. Amazon, Horses See Ghosts.
A struggling city, its beloved baseball team, an antique camera, and photos from that camera that bear an image from the pit of hell, an entity only a select few can see. Journalism professor Buddy Cullen is determined to track this demon down. But who is the hunter and who is the prey? And who will be the next target of mankind's mortal foe? Mortal Foe, available at Amazon.com.
Hi, this is Winona
and Jade inviting you to join us
and our wonderful guests on the And I Thought Women's Cave podcast
on Blog Talk Radio to learn more about our books, the And I Thought series, and
the Misfit Guides. They're available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNobles.com.
Or just to see what your ladies are up to, you can find all of that out on www.andwethought.com.
So peace and love from Winona
and Jade and our books.
Girl,
You're so
silly.
You silly.
Remember,
did you write that? That's funny.
Remember to visit us at andwethought.com.
And this is Off the Chain with your host, Yvonne Mason, and my guest, author, Kara Lane. And we are discussing all things military, books, and just, this is Off the Chain. We talk about everything. But Kara has got more degrees than I probably have fingers and toes. But before we talk about that, I had an epiphany, ladies and gentlemen, and y'all know I do this quite frequently. And I'm going to throw this out to Kara. Now, if she starts blubbering, just we'll get past the blubbering, then we'll move on. But I'm going to throw this out. And what I'm throwing out is this, Kara. I want to help you help them. So what I want you to do, if you will, is I want you to send me an ad to promote the cookbook and your dog tags program, and I am going to promote it free for perpetuity on this show.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even know what to say, and I promise I'm not going to cry because you don't want me to sound all messy. And
it's fine to cry,
right
but as I started playing the ads, I said, call to me. And it's my way of showing my appreciation to veterans all over the world, but especially to our veterans.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. I mean, I can't even probably put it into words, and that's probably surprising for somebody like me. I think I came out of the womb being able to speak. I think that was like the first thing that I could do. Couldn't walk, couldn't do anything, but my mom said I could talk. I'm a natural talker, but when I'm rendered speechless, trust me, it's a big thing.
So
I really
work
don't know what to say.
Work it up. Put it in an MP3 Put it in an MP3 format, or do it in Word form, and I'll read it. Or once I get it, I'll put it in an MP3 format. Send it to me at Off the Chain, or either send it to me through Facebook Messenger. It's easier to send it to me at offthechainradio@yahoo.com. And I will put that ad on this show to be played on every show I do from now until I never do the show anymore.
I really don't know what to say. This is more than wow. The fact that you are doing this it really speaks to what an amazing person you are, because that's really what it's all about for me. I've said from the start to my husband, I don't care if I don't get rich and famous. If I have one goal, it's just going to be to try to spread the word and help give back somehow. That is all I've wanted to do all along. I mean, I'm already fulfilling my dream by being able to write. That was my dream. The fact that I even hit publish, goal already attained. But to do something bigger and more than just that, and to have it just lead to other bigger and greater things, that's what it's all about for me. And it's not about me. It's about them. And that's how I've always said that.
What I will also do is I will put that ad, once we get it into an MP3 format, I will put that ad on the Reverb Nation site. It goes up as a song. I will also put it up on YouTube, so it will not only show up on the show and show up on all the podcasts, but it will show up as a standalone on YouTube and on the Reverb Nation site.
Wow. I certainly don't know what to say.
Don't cry.
You.
Or cry. I don't care. If you want to cry, cry. We're going to take a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and let her cry, and then she'll get it all out. And then we'll move on to something else. It'll be all right.
My son's laughing at me. I know you're not laughing at me, but I mean, you're smiling at me. You always make Mommy feel better.
Your son. I have a word for your children, and it's not special needs, because I have a brother that is also challenged. But the word that I have lots of friends that have children that are, but I don't call them challenged. My word for these beautiful children is, they are unique.
Oh, I love that. No, I do, and that's how I consider my little Joshie and my Brandon. They're my little unique. Well, Josh especially, I say he's always my little puzzle piece because, of the autism. I'm very open about him being autistic. He knows that he is. We've, explained it to him. We talked to him.
Oh, he's a genius.
So,
he's
yes,
an absolute genius.
He is, most definitely, and he schools me every single day. And, that's really what began, I guess, this whole writing journey. When I first sat down to write my first book, it was about 4 years ago now. Between my husband being deployed and needing an outlet for myself, for my sanity, I sat down and started writing. And, my boys, even though the genre I write is not something, obviously, that's really appropriate, given, my kids and whatnot. I wish I wrote children's books. Maybe one day I'll venture into that. But it still is something that's cathartic for me, because I needed that escape. I needed that release. And that's what this writing journey has done for me. And then, like you said, the fact that it's taken me to other places as far as being able to, help our veterans, for instance, that is beyond anything I could have ever expected. And that's why this is just the most incredible dream ever. And anybody who supports them, I just can't thank you enough. I really can't. It's hard to put it into words. But like you said, I will try to find the words appropriately as a writer and put them into words.
Get it either in the written format or an MP3 format, and we'll get it out there and we'll make it happen. And when you get off the phone with me tonight and the show ends, give both of those boys a hug and tell them that they are absolutely two of the most beautiful children in this world, and that they're part of the fabric of our future, and they have so much to bring to the table. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with their lives.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much. I definitely will give them lots of hugs and love and attention. And they always have to be near me, so I've got the one right here right now. So he loves to be distracted. He loves to
If you
distract
see,
me,
ladies and gentlemen, you never know what you're going to learn on the show. And you know that I have a lot of authors that come on the show who have children that are unique, and we label people because we don't know what else to do with them. Let's just take away the labels and accept them for where they are, who they are, and what they bring to the table, because everybody brings something to the table. If my brother taught me, my brother's the reason that I do what I do. I don't know how much of my story you've read, but the very first book I wrote was about him. And he set the standard, and he has taught me more than I would ever be able to teach him. So I look at life through a different lens than most people when I see children and adults who have this uniqueness about them, who see the world through a different prism. I want to crawl in their mind because I want to know what they're thinking and why they're thinking it, and see life through their eyes.
No, absolutely. And that's so beautiful. And that's exactly what I want to for my kids, because, I wrote a story called Shoes. It's just a little poem basically, but it's about Josh, and it's about walking in his shoes, because I would love the opportunity to just have just a glimpse of what it's like, because his brain is just incredible, and to have all that intelligence just locked inside, and then, of course, it does come out. But it astounds me. It really does. It's just incredible. And he's an amazing little guy, and so is my other one.
And to tap into their psychic and to just be able to have a little bit of that, to own it for a moment. Because as a general rule, mankind thinks that children with uniquenesses are stupid. They're not. They're geniuses. Without fail, they are all geniuses. And that's my
Josh
lesson
definitely puts me to shame because his cognitive abilities and his higher level of thinking. I mean, every day he just surprises me, and he ends up problem solving so much easier than I do. I mean, because I think sometimes as adults we want to overcomplicate things, and even though it might seem like such a simple solution, it's still, it's like the work hard, smarter, not harder. I mean, it's kind of how it is for Josh. I mean, he just can easily just, cut right through everything and go, you do it this way. And at 8 years old, it's such a gift. So
when I was with my brother and I was looking at a pair of boots that I wanted, and I put them on, they fit, and because I'm so hard to fit, I very seldom buy boots, and I'm looking at them and I'm putting them back and I'm looking at them, and he finally says, and because he can't say Yvonne, he said, Yvonne, just buy the boots. Okay, Stan, I can do that. Just cut to the, as you say, just cut to the chase.
Absolutely, and we need more people like that in our lives, and that's why I love being surrounded by them, because I like you said, you think that you get to teach them so much. Just like the relationship you have with your brother, well, the relationship I have with my son. They're only 8 years old. They have taught me so much, and I have grown so much as a person because of them. I mean, it's been incredible. I just feel like my life only started when they came into this world, because they have just filled it with so much joy and a lot of ups and downs too. It's been an incredible ride. It really has.
We're not going to talk about your degrees tonight. We'll save that. Will you come back?
Oh, I would love to. Anytime if you're more than willing to put up with me, I'm more than willing to come on.
Oh, honey, to put up with you is a pleasure. It's not putting up with you. It's enjoying your company, because we're learning so much from each other. But I don't want to learn about degrees tonight, because we're going to run out of time. If I do, and we won't get to, I know we're getting to our books. Y'all just don't get your knickers in a twist. So before we have a revolt on our hands, you are a romance author, correct?
Yes, I write steamy contemporary romance novels.
All right, let's talk a minute about your steamy contemporary romance. She's got a series of 5 books. Now, is this series going to run into more? Or are you going to start another series?
Well, right now, the final book in the series literally comes out next Tuesday, July 17th. So that is pretty much the epic conclusion to it. Now, I did say at the end of the book to my readers that I quite possibly could revisit it later on, or maybe a character or two from one of the books might show up in another, series, or maybe do a spin-off series. But for purposes of just kind of closing out that series, it did come to its finale. So it's definitely done, like I said, as of Tuesday, and I'm already plotting, my next book. So that is going to be another book inspired by my husband, but it's going to be concentrating more on his volunteerism in the private sector. Since with the military, I've kind of done that with book 2 in that A Tryst of Fate series. So I wanted to do something else, but still really honor him somehow. So I'm going to be doing something with him being a firefighter. so that's what I've actually been plotting right now. And then I'm in another project I'm working on with a group of authors that we're coming out with an anthology for the holidays, so I'm really excited about that. So there's all kinds of exciting stuff like coming up, but this 5-book series, which it really consists of 3 novels and 2 novellas, it's my heart and soul. I put a lot of, as any author does, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it because all the time you take away from your family, all the money you spend on it, et cetera. It's really been a labor of love, but I fulfilled my dream, as we already discussed, and that's what this is. So thank goodness I actually got to do it, and I'm super excited to see, where my next adventure will take me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the books, the title of the books are Playing Heart to Get, H-E-A-R-T, Every Heart Inch, I-N-C-H, A Force of Nature. That's the one we've been talking about, where you get the dog, you can order the dog tag with this book cover on it. And ladies, I'm going to tell you, this book cover is, I'll just say you'll drool. Then she has Heart to Follow, and the one that's coming out is Nursing, I can't read it because my...
Oh, it's all the fancy scripts. I'm sorry. It's called Nursing Myself Back.
Okay, Nursing Myself Back. So, no, y'all can't go now because we still have a few minutes. And the way you spell her last name is Liane, Karaliane. And I know all these books are on Amazon, right?
Yes, they are on Amazon and, of course, in Kindle Unlimited for those that have that program that they can get them for free.
So your next series, is it going to be like 4 or 5 different books? Is it going in a different well, you said it was going in the direction of the private sector, but are you going to spin off from that?
I'm not quite sure yet. I think that I'm just going to, for now, with the firefighter series. It might just be a 2-book series for that one. And I don't really want to call it a duet because I don't think the characters are going to necessarily be the same in both books. So I know that I've already, like I said, started plotting the first one. I just kind of have to sit down and actually run with it. But I've been taking so much time, of course, editing and doing everything else under the sun. We're getting ready to launch this final book. So that is going to be the next project I work on as soon as Tuesday happens and the release, goes off. So I think there's going to be, hopefully, like I said, more to the firefighter series, but right now I'm only planning on 2. So we'll see.
And all right, let's talk about, you briefly brought up the cookbooks. Let's talk about the title of the cookbooks and when they will be ready to be purchased so that folks can go and get them.
Yes, it's called Cooking with Love, although I don't want to get the title wrong, because it's kind of a long title. It actually comes out on July 15th. It's a multi-author/blogger cookbook. Right now, this is the only one that's coming out. I know that the multi-projects that they've done before, they've been like Shaded with Love, like their coloring books, and that's what's so unique about this. I think this is volume 6, but the reason why this one is so unique is because not only is it a cookbook, but it's also a coloring book. So I'm so excited to be a part of it because, like I said, it's unique in the sense that it's both and the fact that they picked my charity. So that's why I am just absolutely thrilled. I'm going to, if I can, look at the full text while we happen to be in the middle of this so I do not get it wrong because I really don't want to give, obviously, misinformation. So I'm going to
they will be able to also get this off of Amazon if they look up your name?
Probably not because I think there's I think there might be as many as 30, 40, maybe even more that participated. So it's actually titled Cooking with Love, Shaded with Love, Volume 6. And that comes out, like I said, on July 15th.
Now let me ask you this: Will you put that launch up on your website or on your Facebook page so folks can know it's out there?
Absolutely, I will be happy to do it. Absolutely, I will. As soon as we actually hang up, that's the first thing I'll do. I'll go right to my website and make sure that it's all on there, because I haven't done it previously because they just started the countdown now that, it's only a couple days away, because it's not something that you could pre-order. This is something that is literally just going to go live. So we've now just this week been starting to finally tease it to readers and whatnot.
You can also tag me so it'll show up on my page.
Okay, wonderful. Will do.
And that way everybody will know it's for the charity of the TAGS program. Now, we are getting down to the end of our show, if you can believe that.
No, I can't.
I told you it would go by fast.
You absolutely did.
People don't believe me when I say it, and then I say, well, we're getting down to the end of the show. They go, yeah, you said it would go by fast, because we have so much to talk about. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, she's already said she'll come back. So I'm going to try to get her back in January so we can talk about all the things we didn't get to tonight, plus the new stuff she's writing about, plus of course, the charities and the cookbook and the new books you're going to be writing on. You're going to be a busy lady.
I am definitely going to be, but, honestly, that's the way I like it. I tend to work well under pressure, and I also I have to keep busy. It's just something, that's just that inborn thing in me. I have to stay busy, especially between the twins and then my husband. I mean, we're never usually just able to sit down and just veg. That's not really a thing in our household, and that's fine by me, because I love what we do. So I can't wait to come back, because, yes, I will share the updates on everything. And I just can't thank you enough for this opportunity. It's incredible, and I, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all that you do to support the veterans, and I can hear it in your voice, almost as if you were sitting here. I could see it on your face, how much the military means to you, and it means the world to me for them to get recognized. So thank you so very much for that. And I will just say, if I may, one little fun fact about me, because I know everybody usually asks me how I came up with my pen name. It's not really like a pen name per se. It's not, a pseudonym, because my middle name is actually Liane. So it's Kara Liane, and then my last name is Lee. I try to kind of keep my personal life separate from my life as an author, and that really didn't happen, because you see me post as both author and myself on my Facebook page, so everybody knows who I really am, and that's fine. It's not as if nobody can know that. It just cracks me up, because I don't know why I just didn't use my real name to begin with, but my middle name is Liane, so that's why it kind of works, both ways.
I like it, Carol Liane. I like it. I like the way that it flows. Now, what I need for you to do is tell these lovely folks before they revolt on us and send spears after us where you can be found, because they're all biting at the bit. I know they are.
For, like, my social media?
Yes.
Okay. My author page for Facebook is author Kara Liane, and again, it's spelled Karaliane, and you have to put the author in front of it. And then on Instagram, it's author Kara Liane, and on Twitter, my Twitter handle is author Kara Liane. So I can be found, I really don't do much on Pinterest. I'm sorry, Pinterest, but I really don't do much there. I am on it. Same thing with Snapchat. Not really active, but I am active on Twitter and Facebook and, of course, Instagram. So that's where you can find me, or you can find me on my website, which is www.karaliane.com. I left off the author part on that one, so it's www.karaliane.com. And all my information is on there, of course, about my book. I'll put, again, the cookbook information up there on all my social media and my website. And, of course, the dog tag program information is on there, and their website is also on there, so you can go and learn more about them if you want to directly donate to them. So that's also a possibility. But I do sell the dog tags on my website. As of right now on the website, because I know at the beginning of the show you said you have a lot of Aussie listeners, I said I won't ship internationally. However, if I do get such an influx of interest in the dog tags, especially international, I will figure out a way to do it that makes it economical or cost-effective for donation and to give a dog tag. I'll figure something out because I don't want to not be able to do that for your listeners, especially ones that, like you said, you have such a following in Australia. So I'll figure something out. I've never really honestly looked into it.
And we also have bases in some of the in all of the countries that listen to this show. We have military bases: Germany, Japan, the UK. We have military bases, so wouldn't that be a coup if your dog tags started showing up on the military bases?
Oh, that would be incredible. And it's easy to send to the APOs and whatnot, but it's kind of hard to, like I said, I'll have to figure something out with international shipping, but I am willing to look into it because I don't want to be able to do that for listeners, especially since everybody's being so incredible and gracious for doing all that they're doing for our veterans. And as you even said, thank you for everybody around the world. I know it's not just, our American military, obviously. I thank anybody in the armed forces because, we obviously, my husband works alongside so many different service members around the world in different countries. So they're incredible.
And we have to give a shout-out. While we're on that, our time is running short, and I may not do my normal thing, but I have to give a shout-out to our Navy SEALs, the Thailand Navy SEALs, the Australian divers, and the Australian doctors that pulled off getting those children and that coach, by the grace of God, and God gets the glory on this, out of that cave with only one fatality, which was a retired Thai diver. Ladies and gentlemen, that is something that is just not done. So kudos. And once again, thank you guys for your service. And with that, I am going to say that at the end of every show, I say a couple of things, and one of them is this. People will forget your name. They will forget what you look like. They'll forget what you're wearing, but they will never, ever, ever forget how you've made them feel. And it is my prayer that every one of you, guest and listener alike, understand that you are the most important person in the room. Without you, we would not have a show. Without you, we would not be successful. And I am so grateful and so humbled that each and every one of you support this show. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. That being said, remember this. If you want to achieve greatness, no matter what it is, don't ask permission because nobody's going to give it to you. You go out and you just do it. And then you pay it forward because the greatest gift that you can give yourself is to help someone else. That shows your success. It's not how much we make. It's how much we enjoy what we are doing. So remember that. If you want to achieve greatness, go out and do it and then pay it forward. And don't just feel special, ladies and gentlemen. Be special because feelings are fleeting. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, know that you are special, you are important, and you are one thread in this fabric of life. Kara, don't hang up when the show goes dark because I want to tell you something, but I want to thank you again for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. We will be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time when we will be interviewing author Rebecca Benson. So I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank Kara for being here. And we will see y'all again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. See, I can't talk. 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time here on Off the Chain. I am your host, Yvonne Mason, with my guest, Kara Elaine. See, I can't. Forget it. Y'all know who we are. And we will.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
See, it's why we call it Off the Chain, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing by this time.
Oh, gosh,
so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave you all laughing at me because I am so silly. We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Bye.
See, I just laugh at myself. But what I wanted to let you know is when we get off in just a minute, the show will go up into archives. Once it archives, I'm going to put it up on my page, and I'm going to tag you in it. I want you to take the show and put it everywhere. Then tomorrow I'll put it up on Spreaker, and it'll go up on SoundCloud and iTunes and YouTube and podcast.com and Podcast Garden and iHeartRadio and all those other places. And I'm going to put those links up on my page and tag you in it. Reverb Nation, all those places, and I will tag you in it, and then you can take all those podcasts and tonight's show, and you can just run with it.
Oh, I definitely will, because they'll go right up on my website. I mean, I don't get tons of traffic, but it doesn't matter. Even if one person listens to it, that's still one person that didn't before.
Exactly. And you got to start promoting your website. Put it up on your page. Put it up on my page. Go and join my indie authors. I've got an indie authors page. Join that and put it up there. I've got like Off the Chain page. Put it up there. Wherever you see me, put it up.
Oh, thank you. The offer you extended to me is just unbelievable. I can't even express. It's incredible because I can't wait to give back to them. I mean, to be able to help them, and especially when you started talking about Vietnam. You know, my father-in-law, of course, was 17 when he went over there, and my husband's life and his life, even though they mirror each other in some ways or parallel each other in some ways, in a lot of ways they're different because, like you were saying, the reception that my father-in-law got when he got home, I mean, I cry every time, like, he does open up and talk about it. It's just disgusting. And then to hear how my husband was received after he got home from Baghdad, you know, in 2003, it's night and day because they put him in first class on the flight home. You know, they announced it on the overhead, like, PA system. I mean, I cried like a baby when he was retelling it because my husband does not like praise. He shies away from it. He hates it. He does not like being in the public eye because he doesn't feel like he's anything special. And it drives me nuts as his right, and that's exactly why.
You tell him that this old woman said he is special, and will you do me a favor? When you see, because Vietnam was my war. When you see your father-in-law, would you please give him a great big fat Georgia hug and a big old fat sloppy kiss from this Georgia woman, and tell him I said thank you for your service and your sacrifice, and you are appreciated.
I promise I will. They actually just bought a house 8 houses down the street from us 2 weeks ago because, you know, they want to be closer to us with the twins and with, you know, my husband being a couple years from retirement. So I actually get to see them a lot more now. So I will definitely do that. You can take that to the bank. I promise I'll do that because he's incredible. He's been in the military in one way or another literally since he was 17 years old, and he's now, you know, like 63, I think, this year. So I don't know how he does it, but that's what I mean. There's these people that have these callings that is just, it leaves me awestruck because I don't know how they do it. And my husband's one of them, and my father-in-law clearly is, so.
Well, I am glad he made it back, and I appreciate him, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your husband. So y'all love each other, take good care of each other, and I am going to send you some dates for January and get you back on the show. You get me the ad for the show, and we're going to get this thing rocking.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And please, you know, say hi to your husband for me. I know he doesn't know me, but I
will.
I'm definitely have him in my thoughts and prayers. You and your family, and I love the uniqueness, you know, word that you gave my kiddos because it's amazing that you can relate on so many levels to me with so many different things that we talked about tonight, and it just makes me feel like it's like kindred spirits. It really is incredible
Absolutely.
because with your brother and, you know, the military aspect, I mean, so many things. So this has been such an amazing experience, and I can't wait to do it again. And I definitely know that I have a friend for life in you. So thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. You do. And I will get all of that stuff to you, get your website up on my pages so folks can see it, and I will send you some dates, and we'll do this again.
Perfect. And I'm going to do all that tonight, too. So I'm going
all
right now
Joan, and
after we hang up.
Give the babies a big fat hug from me and tell them follow their dream. They can be anything and do anything they want to do.
Absolutely will. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, baby. Good night.
All right, good night. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye.